And you are looking live in Montgomery, Alabama. This is the Alabama High School Athletic Association State Football Playoffs Coaches Meeting taking place on the campus of Alabama State University in Montgomery. It is one of the biggest days of the year, perhaps the biggest day of the year in high school football in the state of Alabama, as we are about ready to begin the Alabama High School Athletic Association State Football Playoffs. I'm John Holder. We will be bringing you coverage of the bracket reveal today, the complete coverage of everything going on with the Alabama High School Athletic Association State Football Playoffs right here for the next 2 hours live on WOTM. We are going to have interviews. Every coach in the state of Alabama that is in the state football playoffs, 1A through 7A, is right there in that meeting in Montgomery today with the AHSAA officials. It is going to be a great day. We're going to give you the complete official brackets. Every matchup in the state of Alabama, 1A through 7A, will tell you every team that's in the playoffs, where they are going for their first round matchup. We'll give you all of that information coming up. We're going to listen in live to the meetings. You'll kind of be an observer, a fly on the wall, so to speak, as you get to hear from Executive Director Alvin Briggs and many others from the Alabama High School Athletic Association, as they will be giving the charge to the coaches. You'll see everything that's going on there. You see Coach Briggs on the stage there, just about ready to begin the proceedings down there. As we said, every coach in the state of Alabama is in that room that made the state football playoffs, so really a who's who of high school coaching. No one does high school football playoffs like the state of Alabama does, and so we're going to bring you all of that from down in Montgomery. They have a lot to do down there. There's a lot of information, a lot of business that needs to be taken care of, a lot of interesting things that go on. The coaches get a big packet of information that they take back to their schools. This is no doubt, in the state of Alabama, we have the best high school playoffs, bar none, of anywhere else in the country. The way that we do it for 5 rounds of playoffs, 4 rounds in Class 7A, all leading to the state championship games coming up at the new Protective Stadium, just a couple of months old, there in downtown Birmingham, home of the UAB Blazers. That will be the site this year of the AHSAA Super 7 State Football Championships. Also, we're going to add to that girls flag football state championships this year, so we'll have 3 days of action-packed football coming up in Birmingham as the AHSAA Super 7 returns to Birmingham. Protective Stadium now in downtown Birmingham in the rotation, along with Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn and Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. So an exciting year for the state high school football playoffs. The action will begin next Friday. Virtually every game in the state of Alabama, the first round of the playoffs, will be next Friday night. We do have 2 Thursday games that we will be sharing with you across the state of Alabama with teams that share stadiums in Madison and in Sylacauga. We'll pass that information along to you. And then after the first round, it's elimination. We go to the second round, the quarterfinals. Of course, Thanksgiving weekend, we will have the semifinal round taking place, except for Class 7A. They'll be off that week. And then we head into the first week in December, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, as we'll have great football action coming your way from Protective Stadium in Birmingham, the AHSAA Super 7 State Championships, where we will crown state champions for another year here in the state of Alabama. It's an exciting time. I personally think this is the greatest time of year. We love high school football here in the state of Alabama, and we have we have hundreds of teams literally in every classification now beginning today that journey toward a state championship. 5 rounds of playoffs in classes 1A through 6A, and then, of course, 4 rounds in classes 1A through 7A. So we're going to be with you all the way until 11 o'clock today live here on WOTM. Looking forward to bringing you all the information. So right now, let's take you to Montgomery, to the campus of Alabama State University, and get things started. It's the AHSAA State Football Playoffs Coaches Meeting.
Had the best fall sports season that we've had in a long time, even in midst what they call a pandemic. We still pulled off what a lot of people didn't think we could pull off, and that's thanks to you guys and your communities and your schools and what you've done. We wouldn't be here. Just a little data before I get going any further. We have a little over 386 football playing schools. Before the 5th week of the season, we only had 25 schools to have at least one forfeit, as compared to the first 3 weeks of the 20 season where we had 140 schools to have a forfeit. I think that's amazing. I think that's props to you, props to your community, your dedication to doing the right thing. It's important that we all be role models in a world that is looking and searching for role models. And believe me, you have set the tone. If you didn't hear us in July at the summer conference, we stated that we were the only state that started all our championships and all our sports on time and finished on time. We didn't push them back a week. We didn't push them back 3 weeks. We didn't push them back to the spring. We did everything on time. And you set the example. You continue to set the example. Last week, we just finished our volleyball championships. We went off great. Let's continue to be great role models and continue to do the things we need to do, and I believe we will. Did we have all of the other schools come in? Did we know if they came in? Jamie, will you check and see if all those schools came in before we go any further, please? Thank you, Jamie. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our central board, who we have up here at this time, and the two we have in the audience. We have our board president from District 5, Van Phillips. Farrell Seymour, our vice president from Opelika High School. And from District 4 also, we have Pam Holloway. In the audience, we have from District 1, Terry Curtis, and from District 2, we have Trent Taylor. Let's give our central board a round of applause. We also like to thank our ladies out front. Those ladies, Vanda and Elaine, look forward to this every year. They look forward to seeing you guys, look forward to talking with you and getting your hugs, and when you see them, thank them for what they do. They really look forward to seeing you. It's important for them. They work hard they were here at the office last night to almost 11 o'clock, getting everything prepared, checking everything. It's important. They love what they do, along with the rest of our staff. At this time, would our staff just stand? I won't call all of them names. Y'all know them. If they just stand, if you give our staff a hand, please. I also would like to thank Stevie Steele. Stevie is back in the back. Is Stevie still back there? Stevie, what number is this for you, playoff? 30. This is number 30. Also, Stevie played football here at Alabama State, and he's happy to be home. He's excited about being here. When we told him we was going to be in here, he was really elated. So let's give Stevie a hand for being a part of what we do. His granddaughter, Haley, who we've seen grow up, is off at Troy. So she's outgrown Granddaddy except for his pocketbook, but she's not here today. I can't go any further without thanking our previous executive director, Bubba Scott, who started, along with the Central Board, started our current playoff system, Mr. Dan Washburn, and of course, Mr. Steve Savarese. They laid the groundwork for what we have here, and the reason we're able to have a great playoff system that's marveled around the country. So we want to thank them, so please give them a round of applause. At this time, we're going to ask Ron Ingram to come up, and we're going to do some Ron tidbits. Ron is on a time schedule. Hopefully he won't take more than 30 seconds, but here's Ron with Ron's tidbits.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Mr. Briggs. This has been a great year. This is the 100th year of the AHSAA as a member, as an association. And boy, what a great year it has been. 3 of our schools this year reached the 700 win level. T.R. Miller, Fayette County, and Aniana. That's amazing. 3 of them did it with really 4 weeks apart. Also, Stevie's been here for 30 years. He's in an elite group because of the top 20 playoff teams. 18 of them are here of all time, and 18 of those have been here at least 30 times. Hoover's making its 37th appearance in the state playoffs, and it's the only school in the AHSAA to win at least 100 playoff games. They've won 82 of those since 2000. And this is their 22nd consecutive year of being in the playoffs. Colbert County, they've won 89 games, and this is their 45th appearance in the playoffs. Followed by Sweetwater with 41, T.R. Miller with 40, and Brantley with 40. T.R. Miller also has made the playoffs 33 straight years from 1984 to 2016, but since then this is their 4th return. Have a 3-year streak going now. Excuse me. Some new faces this year in the crowd. Central Hannibal's making its 2nd 1A appearance in a row and 5th overall. The other playoff years were 1999, 1988, 1986. R.C. Hatch is back. It owns a dozen state basketball championships, and it's making its 4th playoff appearance. And the Bobcats are really amazing. I've seen every one of their state championships for the boys, and the girls have won 3 or 4. It's just amazing. Our fans attending the 6A playoffs will get a big kick out of it if they can go watch Fort Payne this week, because last night, Alex McPherson, the younger of 3 brothers that kick at Fort Payne, kicked a 61-yard field goal against North Jackson. It was from a snap, hold, and kick. It broke the record for the longest field goal from a snap, hold, and kick that was made by his older brother, Evan, who went to the University of Florida, and now he's in the NFL. Interestingly enough, when his brother kicked a 60-yarder 4 years ago, or excuse me, a little bit longer than that, 4 years ago, the holder was Alex. And their oldest brother, he actually kicked 2 field goals, 157 and 156, in the same high school game in 2012. The longest field goal ties a record. Sage Ledbetter of Auburn also kicked a 61-yarder, but his was off of a free kick put on a tee. I say but, it's not a but. He kicked it 61 yards, and it went about 81 yards. But he holds that record also as the longest. All I can tell you, folks, is the playoffs are here. Something great is going to happen. Something strange is going to happen. But either way, we're glad to see all of you here. We're glad to know that we're in Alabama and that our schools do it right, and they put everything they can into this event each year. And I can tell you, as an old sports writer, nothing is more fun and more exciting than watching the high school football playoffs. Congratulations to each of you.
Thanks, Ron. As you well know, even though you have a packet there, the packet is online. We will continue to put that packet online. After this meeting, in-person meeting, all other meetings will be virtual. You will get a link where we will have a virtual meeting until we have the final meeting after the semifinal week. We're just going to touch bases with a little bit what's on that packet. If you thumb through it, you can see you have the official observers form there that's to be filled out. There's a QR code there on there. You can use that to do it. You can do it electronically. The next one, we have the home playoff form that's filled out, broadcast for Ron. Please get that in the right length of time for Ron. Ron has his numbers on there, so you can call him. Also, you have the NFHS broadcast policy. Please make sure your announcer announce this policy and make sure that everybody adheres to this as much as possible. I know you can't control most of your fans. Everybody believing it's Facebook Live and everything else, but when you're doing that, you're actually losing funds, people. Please make sure that your announcer is announcing that policy and everybody understands that. The NFHS playoff game stat summary. Please have someone fill that out and get that back into us. That's for national purposes. Also, we have the sportsmanship guideline for your announcers in the packet. Please make sure your announcers making sure they're announcing that sportsmanship. The one thing I really want to touch on, because it'll be a little bit different this year. Last year we had capacity limitations. This year we don't have capacity limitations. So please make sure that whoever your gate workers understand the passes that are accepted, that are not accepted. You know, the current passes are the ones that we're using that have our logo on it. So make sure that these are adhered to. With your pass gate person, these will be in the packet that you can download. I would suggest you laminate them and so you can use them from week to week. Make sure those are the only passes that you can use to get in. So make sure that your people are at the pass gates are following that procedure. We'll come back to the game manager's check sheet. The next item on this is GoFan. GoFan will be the only online ticket provider we'll use throughout the playoff system until we get to the championship. And once we get to the championship, the venue has an online ticket provider that we have to use because of the contract we have with Birmingham Protective Stadium. That will be through Ticketmaster, but that's at the finals only. For the next 4 weeks, we will be using GoFan as our ticket provider, and I think most of our schools have been doing that. At this time, I would like to have Patrick Knowles just come up and say a couple of words about GoFan, and we'll keep on through the packet in a second.
All right, thank you, Coach Briggs, and good morning, everyone. Glad to see everybody, and I will be brief because, as Coach Briggs mentioned, I think the higher majority of you guys do use GoFan during the regular season, so nothing new, to share in regards to how everything operates. Obviously, this year we won't have ticket capacities, which is awesome. So what that means is later today by 1 o'clock, every game will be posted online. So they'll be on each school's homepage for GoFan. So what that means is you'll be able to go to GoFan, search the school, and find the game. So, home and away team can easily find the games. They'll also be available on the AHSAA's GoFan page as well. So you guys don't have to do anything with that. Same goes for, all the playoffs moving forward. You don't have to load the playoff games. We're going to get the data from the AHSAA and populate those games. So that'll happen later today, and the way that you will know that's done is by logging into our new GoFan HQ portal. So everybody should be familiar with that by now. If you're not, please email me. My email's on the bottom of this orange page, peach page here. And if you don't have a GoFan account set up and you want to go ahead and get one set up, like formally, just email me and say, hey, well, I want to get an account set up, and I'll send you the proper information to do that. But everybody will be able to log into the new GoFan HQ, even if you're not using GoFan during the regular season. So there's a step-by-step process of how to do that. You'll use your school email. It'll ask you to set up a password if you've never been in there before, and you'll see the games loaded up. So if you have to make any kind of date changes, time changes due to weather or anything like that, obviously through whatever you're approved to do time-wise, then you can do it through there. If you have any questions, at the very bottom of that page, there's a school support email. Definitely use that as a resource. Obviously, I'm here as well. If you need me, my contact information is there as well. So we won't be emailing you the specific links because there's no specific links. It's all just going to be wide open. You go to GoFan, search your school, and buy the ticket. So don't be waiting on a link today. You can log in either to the HQ or go to GoFan and check to see if your game's posted. All games will be posted by 1 o'clock. So there is also a how to validate tickets section. If you follow that website on how to do that, there's a digital ticketing guide that actually shows you how to buy, how to validate, all kinds of information that you need there. Again, if you have any questions on how that process works, please reach out to us prior to Friday at like 5 o'clock when the gates are opening. So if you have anything, we're here all week to get back to you. Multiple ways to get in touch with us if you got any questions. So please use that as a resource as well. All the money, you don't have to do any of the reconciliation. It's all going to go back to the AHSAA. So all the reports and all of that stuff will be done, call it automatically. So on the comp tickets, so you guys are, do I need to go over exactly how many each gets, or do they know?
No.
Okay, so everybody knows how many comp tickets that you get. So the comp tickets will be done by the home school. So the instructions are on here how to do the comp tickets. So you go into the HQ portal, follow these 2 little instructions, and you send the comp tickets to whoever you need to send them to. So obviously, if you're the home team, you might need to send comp tickets to multiple people if they're going to be using them. So you will just email those to whoever's going to use them. If you're sending them to the away team, you'll put the email of the principal in and send the principal however many comp tickets that they're allotted for. And that principal will get an email saying, here's your tickets. Now, the principal will then need to transfer the tickets, and there's instructions on how to do that as well, to who's going to be using those tickets for the away team side. So it's a very simple process. I'm actually going to send a video of how to do this to Marvin as well. And if you want to get that video, just email me and say, hey, send me the video on how to do comp tickets. So there's instructions here. There's an online guide how to do it, and I can send a video to you guys on how to do it. It's how many? And let's say 5A, the comp ticket allotment is 20 tickets. Is that correct? Okay, so that's it. Again, everything will be done. If y'all need anything, just please reach out to me, and if you need to get your account set up, if you haven't, shoot me an email, and we'll get it done this weekend.
Thank you, Patrick. So on the front of that, your pamphlet there, it shows you what your comp tickets is. So that I cut them off short so we can move on. Hopefully you can see that. That's on the front of that playoff packet guide. It tells you what you have for as comp tickets. Also, you have in here, you have a contest completion policy. Please, coaches, get with your administrator. Y'all go over this and make sure you understand what's going on with the contest completion policy. Make sure you read through it. Next thing is the inclement weather. Make sure you y'all go over this. As the game manager, as the home team game manager, you should find the administrator of the visiting team, and y'all talk about both of these policies. So y'all can go ahead and be thinking ahead. Don't wait until something happens. Get with the administration from the team. Call them on Monday. Call them today. Whenever you want to call that, if you're the home team, make sure everybody's on the same page. Find out when they're coming, if they're going to be there, who's going to represent the school, so you know who you're talking to, so we won't have any issues. More often than not, we don't communicate with each other. I don't know why, but we should. So if you're not going to be the one that's doing it, have your administrator, make sure your administrator reach out to the next administrator who y'all plan, so you can go over these things, so you know where they are, what they're doing. You can assist. Make sure you do that. We do have a lot of our schools that do that, so let's just make sure we continue to do that. The next one is working with the officials. At this time, I'm asking Ken Washington, the Director of Officials, he'll come up and speak a little bit about the expectations and a couple of items dealing with officials.
Thank you, Coach Briggs. Good morning, everybody. I'll be real brief. We only got 2 schools that are using instant replay. That's Thompson and Hanley. So if you're traveling to those places, please, please, please familiarize yourself with the instant replay protocols that's in your packet. I'm not going to go through all of those for time's sake. All of our officials for playoffs are assigned by our district directors. Associations will not be assigning your officials. So please don't think you're being homered, because it's not the case. The district directors identify these officials. They have been through all the playoff requirements that we set forth for them, and they have been selected by their district directors. I do understand that you want a neutral site, and we're going to do our best to accommodate that with the officials. The head official is going to contact your school on Tuesday prior to the contest Friday. They're going to ask, they need to know where they're going to park. We need to have a safe place for the officials to park. We've had situations where they've been hit with water bottles during the contest or leaving, confrontations. We want to make sure they have security, whoever that may be, during the contest, when they arrive, halftime, going into the locker rooms, and then to their cars. We got to take care of these guys. We want the best officials officiating our games, and if we don't take care of them, they're not going to come. So please do your part. As far as who's paying who, I'm going to take care of the officials on the contest. We'll pay that from our office. We also take care of the ECO, the clock operator, and you guys are going to take care of your chain crew. We'll have an alternate there to keep it fair, so don't worry about the host team having the chain crew. We'll have somebody over there with them as an alternate official. You'll pay that guy, and you'll also pay the 40-second play clock operator. So you guys got the 40-second play clock operator, and you have the chain crew. We'll take care of the other 3 people. You also can use your local association for that. So if you want to do that, you have that right to. If you decide to play these guys through Dragonfly, there's a $2 transaction fee for each person. So if you're playing for four people, that's going to be $8. So you have that right to pay them through Dragonfly, or you could pay them however other way of methods you decide to. But good luck to everybody, and please, sportsmanship at all times. These guys should be professional. If they're not professional, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. One other thing with the instant replay. Remember, if either one of those schools, Thompson or Hanley, end up being a visitor at your school, they also can use instant replay during that game. That's in the protocol. So if they're traveling and they end up at one of your schools, instant replay can be used during that game. So they are allowed to do that. Just want to make sure you understand that before we go any further with instant replay. Let's move right along. You have some PSAs in here. Please make sure your announcer goes over those PSAs from the association, talking about the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star games and a couple other things in there. We also have playoff meeting reminders. Again, this should be the last one we have in person until we have the final meeting. With this, 7A schools, remember November the 27th that 21st, that you will be coming to our office to do interviews for those semifinals and finals. So remember, you'll be coming to the office on the 21st. Stadium criterias, as we look through that. Mr. Washington Ken went over instant replay. For those of you who will be playing teams with instant replay, make sure you go through that. Overtime procedures. Make sure you give this to your announcer so he can go over overtime procedure. All games must be completed. All games must be completed. So even in ties, make sure we go through that overtime procedures. Also, we have some Super 7 material in here. At this time, I'm asked Daniel Smith from Night Eater if he'll come up here and just welcome everybody and talk to you about Super 7 briefly, and then we'll move from there.
Thank you, Coach. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for coming down here to Montgomery and up from Mobile area today. We at Night Eater are excited to host and partner with the association again. This will be our 8th year of hosting the football championships on behalf of the association. It has been a great time so far. Traditionally, we have been flipping between Tuscaloosa and Auburn. This year, we are excited to be able to host the championships in Birmingham at the new Protective Stadium. Some of you guys may or may not have already been to a UAB home game there. If you have not, it is a great facility, one that is a first-class facility, and something that Birmingham is extremely proud of. We are looking forward to hosting each of you guys there. It should be a great year, and as Alvin said earlier, without capacity limits, without a few other things in there, it should be a very, very great venue for high school football. and having the high school football championships there. It is a very intimate stadium, whereas in Tuscaloosa and Auburn, you have the walking track in between the stands, the first row of the stands, and the field. At Protective, that first row is right behind the sideline. So it is a very intimate stadium there. It's going to be a lot of fun. The fans should enjoy it. The players should enjoy it. And you coaches should also be able to enjoy it. One other thing I wanted to talk about in relationship to Super 7, in your packet, probably towards the end, there is one more PSA announcement in there on behalf of AHSAA. So AHSAA has sponsored and is partnered with the association as a promotion on the road to Super 7. Some of you guys might be familiar with AHSAA and the promotion that we worked with them on. We will partner with a local AHSAA agent, and we will select a game of the week. We will coordinate with that local AHSAA agent. They will then coordinate with the individual schools. And prior to the game, we will have a ceremonial commemorative football for each head coach that we will be handing out, or the local AHSAA agent will be handing out. There is a small PSA read in there for you to pass along to the PA announcer, fill in home team versus away team. It is universal, so we will have a game of the week beginning the first round of the playoffs, and we will have one each individual round of the playoffs. So if you have any questions, there's some contact information for our corporate partner representative, Caleb Schmidt, and also Lauren Lockridge on our staff. So if you have any questions, their contact information is there. We will be reaching out to those individual schools here at the first part of next week once we announce that game of the week. And we will continue to do that each individual week. We also have with us today David Dowd and Wesley Willings from the Monday Morning Quarterback Club. They are excited to serve as part of the three-part host in Birmingham. David Dowd, the committee chair, can come up here in just a second and say a few words. But feel free to ask any questions you might have. Feel free to email me if you have any questions about Super 7 as we get closer. We will discuss more information as the playoffs go on, but feel free to reach out to us. And then without any other things, David Dowd, I'll let you come up and say a few words on behalf of the Monday Morning Quarterback Club.
Good morning. Congratulations to all the teams that made the playoffs. I know it's an exciting time. On behalf of the Monday Morning Quarterback Club, we're really excited for the Super 7 to come back to Birmingham. Our club had a long history at Legion Field of helping sponsor and host the Super 6 in years past, and we're excited that to have that roll again now with the Super 7 at the magnificent Protective Stadium. It's really quite a venue. You all will love it. Our job is to make this experience for the finalists and their bands and teams and fans as special as possible. We'll be having a host associated with each finalist team, and you'll meet your host at that meeting on November 27th. We'll also help get your buses unloaded and loaded before and after the game, and just provide as much support as we can to your teams and bands and cheer teams. So our job is to support you and the association, and we really look forward to it. Thank you.
We're looking forward to it. As you well know, it takes a lot of volunteers to put on the type of event that we want to put on and what we do for our membership. So we want to thank the Monday Morning Quarterback Club for being involved and for stepping up and wanting to bring the Super 7 back to Birmingham. We're excited to be a part of that. We're excited to be back in Birmingham, so we want to thank you for that. At this time, I'm going to ask Jeff Seegers if he'll come up to the mic and talk a little bit about the next couple of weeks and how we're going to do everything virtually and anything else he want to add while he's here.
I appreciate everybody being here, and congratulations. One correction I did want to make, those dates did not get changed. Next week's meeting is the 20th, not the 21st. So if you are looking for it. One change that I hope that you are all aware of this year is this will be our only in-person meeting until we get to that semifinal round. So the 7A coaches will come back on the 20th, not the 21st, and then everybody will be back on the 27th. Friday night, once our games are complete, I will send out an email with that link for everybody for that virtual meeting link on that we will have at 9 o'clock that next Saturday morning. We hope this is beneficial to everybody. Now you're not getting home at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and then getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to drive here for a meeting. I'm always open to feedback. If we'll reevaluate and we'll make it better the week after. But we think this will be a good change. We also want to thank WOTM, who's here telecasting, and they've been a great partner with us putting on the games of the week. Okay.
Thank you, Jeff. As Jeff mentioned, again, we're going to try the Zoom meetings. I must tell you, if it doesn't work, we'll be back in person. Yes, sir, you will not. you will not. That was a good one, Ben. That was a good one. One other thing that's in the packet I want to go over is the PSA for Veterans Day. Please don't forget to do the PSA for Veterans Day that's in here. Make sure we do that. Also, let's make sure we're supporting Jacks, and we have the trophy pamphlet in there at this time. Let's go over the game manager's check sheet, and then we'll set the brackets. All games will be played at 7 o'clock. And on Friday, unless there's designated, and I think we have a couple of games that are designated for Thursday nights because they share a stadium, but all games will be played Friday night at 7 o'clock. And make sure all pregame ceremonies do not delay the game. If you're gonna have pregame ceremonies, do them in the length of time. Game coordinators are the home principals or designee. I want to please, I beg you to make sure that your principal is there, part of the game coordinator, unless there's no way that they cannot be there. It's a must. We just, if anything happens, we knock on wood that nothing happens, but if it does, make sure that you have somebody from administration there. Use all your local media to publicize the game, radio, talk positive, TV, whatever you have to do to do that. Host schools must provide police protection, fire marshal, traffic directors. Please, in this day and time, don't take anything for granted. Make sure you have safe precautions in place. Game balls must be used by Wilson by both schools. Concessions must be operated and arranged by the home team. If a stadium is owned, if the stadium is owned by the host school or the board, no fee will be used. If the stadium, you're renting the stadium, it shall not exceed $500. The host school spent 7%. So just make sure you're looking at that. That's in the fall sports book. Jerseys. Visiting team must wear white. Home team must wear dark. If there's any questions about your home jerseys, please email a picture of that jersey to Ken Washington, the Director of Officials. He will get back with you within the correct time limit and let you know. If there's any questions about your jersey, don't wait till you get to Friday and come out there and you got a different crew than you've been using all year, and all of a sudden they tell you that jersey's not legal. And then the next thing you're gonna say, well, I've been using it all year. That still's not gonna make it right. You're still probably gonna get a flag. So my suggestion, we have those grays. I'm gonna use the word, that gray, and those different jerseys that have different numbers that you can't see, make sure you go ahead this week, email him. He don't have anything else to do. Email Ken, let him verify those jerseys for you. He doesn't have anything else to do. He needs some more work. So thank you, Ken. All ties must be broken, including championship game. As we stated earlier in the overtime procedure, make sure that you get that to your announcer so he can announce the overtime procedures over the PA. Game program should be printed and distributed. Home teams can receive all the proceeds from those sales. PSA announcer should receive instructions. We just said that. We talked about the ticketing. That's big. Now, understand that we are only using GoFan tickets. There will be no paper tickets. There'll be no paper tickets. Ticket procedure admissions. There are no reserved seats. There are no reserved seats. All ticket prices first, second, and third round are $10. Semifinals are $12, and $15 for the championships. Only single game tickets will be sold for the championship, Super 7, and we'll go over that as we move forward. We talked about contest officials. Lastly, but leastly, before we set the brackets, Ron, you have anything with the media? Ron?
Right here, just one thing, the folks that have pixel-lot cameras in your stadium, you do not have, if you're hosting the game, you do not have to request broadcast permission. But if you want to do an NFHS network live stream on the road, you must request and have a letter of permission to take that other school. As far as the media, if you're running into any problems, keep them out of your team box. But if you have any problems with any media, please let us know, and we will work to correct. Make them all sign into the pass tape so we can know who they are. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Also, halftimes. Make sure both teams are available, both bands are available to do halftime. That both bands are available. You see the chaperones allowed per band members. Make sure you do that. All those that you've been giving tickets to or letting in during the regular season, know that they must be purchasing a ticket. You can purchase a ticket for them, but also no passes free other than the passes designated on the sheets that we read out earlier. So no freebies, please. You have the opposing team will be observing your gates and watching that, and they have a report that they will send back to us. So make sure we do those correctly. All right, at this time, we want to set the brackets. As we set the brackets, we want to make sure hold on. I'm sorry, I've just been reminded that Jamie wants to talk about North, South, and Alabama, Mississippi for a second.
Very important announcement to make.
Yes, you do.
I just want to remind everybody, first of all, thank you so much for sending your senior players in, nominating them for the North, South, and Alabama, Mississippi. Very difficult task. I want to thank those members that are here that were a part of the committee to help select those outstanding players. It's difficult because of some of the restrictions we have in terms of every class and every district and positions and all that kind of stuff. So very difficult. We have had a couple of injuries already, so we've knocked somebody out. So we've taken somebody from North, South, moved up, found somebody else. So if you've been fortunate enough to have a young man selected in either one of those two games, please make sure that his paperwork is sent to us ASAP. So the Alabama, Mississippi was due yesterday, and I know we got about 13 players we don't have their paperwork in. And then the North-South is due this coming Friday. So please do your diligence as a coach. Make sure your player has taken care of his responsibility to get that to us. For Saturday, December 11th, on the campus at Southern Miss, Hattiesburg, will be the Alabama-Mississippi game. That is a noon kickoff. Whether you have a player in it or not, I hope that you would consider supporting that contest, supporting that game. Your coaching card will get you in. If you want to make a field trip out of it and carry your team, then obviously we'll help you with tickets from that standpoint, get you in touch with the right person. But please support that contest. There aren't any college football on that day, and so you You know, if you want to hunt, go to Mississippi and hunt and then go to the game for a while. If you're a gambler, go to Biloxi afterwards. But please come support that game. North-South, the very next Friday night, 7 o'clock, North-South at the University of South Alabama. South Alabama has been phenomenal to work with. I mean, unbelievable to work with for this North-South. Last year's game was an awesome hit. I feel like we're going to have another great contest again this year. So again, same thing. Please support that contest, whether you have players entered or not. Obviously, if you do have players, hopefully you will make it. So again, that's Friday, December 17th at South Alabama. If you have any questions, need anything related to that, please email Brandon, myself. I'll do my best to help. Coach, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Good luck to all of you.
Thank you, Jamie, for reminding me. That PSA about Biloxi did not come from the Alabama High School Athletic Association. That did not come from the Alabama High School Athletic Association. That PSA was not brought to you by the Alabama High School Athletic Association. All right, we're going to set the brackets as we call the schools. Please record, place, time, and officials, 5 or 7. We need to know 5 or 7. If there's not an agreement, the default is 7 on officials. The default is 7 on officials. 1A, setting the brackets, 1A, Region 3, place 1, Keith by percentage, home team. Region 1, place 4, McKinney by percentage. Keith. Region 4, place 2, Notasulga by percentage. Region 2, place 3, Marengo by percentage. Notasulga.
Notasulga High School, 81, at Sanderson Stadium, 5 to 7 o'clock, 7 officials. Marengo High School, 5 to 4.
Thank you. Region 1, place 1, Brantley by percentage. Region 3, place 4, R.T. Hatch by percentage. Brantley, you're the home team.
High School, 9-0, 5 officials, 7 o'clock.
R.C. Hatch.
R.C. Hatch, 4 and 5
Region 2, place 2, Murray by percentage. Region 4, place 3, Lochapoka by percentage. Murray, you the home team. Fit. Lochapoka. Region 4, place 1, Mapleville by percentage. Region 2, place 4, Fruitdale by percentage. Mapleville,
What
you the
you're
home
seeing
team.
down in Montgomery, what's going to take place over the next several minutes there is they'll go 1A through 7A, actually setting the official bracket. What they're doing there is Coach Briggs, Executive Director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, he is talking to the head coaches of both teams for each game, making sure they agree on where the game is going to be, who the home team is, and the officials, whether it will be a 7-man crew or a 5-man crew. We're going to bring you more from Montgomery, from the campus of Alabama State University, from this AHSAA State Football Playoffs Coaches Meeting. We'll have some interviews and things like that coming up. We will also have brackets. We're going to give you visually every game in the state of Alabama. We're going to set the brackets for you right here over the next several minutes on WOTM. We also want to remind you that we have lots of great programming coming up here on WOTM. We're going to bring you 2 live AHSAA state playoff games from the first round coming up next week. We mentioned a couple of Thursday games in the state. One of those Thursday games we will have for you live. 6:30 is the airtime. We will be at Legion Stadium in Sylacauga. B.B. Comer in Class 2A playing host to the G.W. Long Rebels coming up from South Alabama in the Wiregrass from Skipperville. That will be Thursday night, 6:30 the airtime, 7 o'clock the kickoff, live right here on WOTM. Also on Friday, we will be back at Legion Stadium in Sylacauga 5A playoff action. The Sylacauga Aggies, Andalusia Bulldogs coming from the heart of South Alabama into Talladega County to take on Sylacauga. Again, airtime at 6:30. The kickoff will be at 7 o'clock for that 5A first round contest between Andalusia and Sylacauga. And we also want to remind you, not only are we going to have those games during the playoffs, but WOTM is your exclusive television home for the AHSAA state championship events. Not only the Super 7 state championships in football, but the state finals in basketball, baseball, softball, all of those exclusively right here on WOTM. When we come back, we will set the brackets beginning in Class 1A through 7A as our live coverage of the AHSAA State Football Playoff Bracket Reveal Show continues.
Looking for a perfect checking account? Don't waste your time. No minimum balance, no monthly fees, and a convenient app. Now you could try and find that at a bank, or you could save yourself the trouble by checking with us.
Mr. President, Bessemer Superhighway is backed up. What are we gonna do?
Are you serious? Get me the King Boys.
King Boys Towing is the fastest growing tow and recovery company in Birmingham and surrounding areas for one reason. Our customers are our top priority. Whether your car's been in an accident, it's stuck in the driveway and won't start, or you just need a tow to your preferred repair shop, give us a call. Our fleet of flatbed tow trucks will provide courteous and fast service. King Boys Towing, 205-428-3235.
I'm Roger, your in-house expert with Alabama Professional, and your questions keep pouring in to Ask Roger. Judy in Arndale asked, what services can APS provide? Alabama Professional offers basement waterproofing, foundation repair, humidity and mold control, and encapsulation of nasty crawl spaces. Since 1977, homeowners have entrusted APS to solve basement, foundation, and crawl space problems. Call for a free, no-obligation estimate today and keep those emails and questions coming.
AHSAA Automotive is bringing you a sweet selection with our best pre-owned inventory of the year and new vehicles arriving daily. We're giving you early access to our Slash-a-thon sale pricing. There's never been a better time to get more for your money. We've never paid more for your trade. Get a cash offer even if you don't buy from us. At Sarah Automotive, we're stepping on the gas and loading up our lot. Come in today and get more Ford, Honda, and Nissan for your money. No tricks, just slash prices all month long. Sarah Automotive, Highway 280, Sylacauga.
Every bank has their own app, but it's just that, theirs. At AmFirst, our app was made for you, so you can personalize your dashboard, pay your bills, and redeem points for rewards you'll love. Get the app made for you at AmFirst.
We are back live on WOTM, the Alabama High School Athletic Association State Football Playoff meetings going on. This will be the only live meeting in person this year until we get to the semifinals of every coach of every high school in the state of Alabama that will be participating in the Alabama High School Athletic Association State Football Playoffs. And that meeting going on even as we speak right now on the campus of Alabama State University in Montgomery. We will give you more live coverage from there. We've got some special interviews and give you some more of the flavor of what the coaches and administrators are going through this morning down in the city of Montgomery. John Holder back with you at WOTM. We want to go through now. We're going to set the brackets for you. We're going to give you all the matchups 1A through 7A for the Alabama High School Athletic Association State Football Playoffs, which begin next week. A couple of games on Thursday. The bulk of the games will be on Friday. In this segment, we're going to begin in Class 1A, and we'll go Class 1A all the way through 3A. And here are the first round pairings. We will begin in Class 1A in South Alabama. McKenzie. They are going to be the number 3 team, I should say number 4 team out of Region 1. They will travel to Orrville to take on Keith. Keith is the region champion out of Class 1A Region 3. Also in the South, Marengo, the Panthers from Dixon's Mills, they will travel cross state over to East Alabama to take on the Notasulga Blue Devils. Marengo, the Region 2 number 3 team, Notasulga, the number 2 team out of Region 4. Also in South Alabama, R.C. Hatch of Uniontown, the Bobcats. You heard Ron Ingram talking about their great basketball tradition. They will go in to take on the number 1 ranked team in the ASWA poll last week, the Brantley Bulldogs down in Crenshaw County. Brantley, the Region 1 champion. R.C. Hatch, the number 4 team out of Region 3. Also, Milry, the Wildcats, will be at home, taking home the Lochapoka Indians. Lochapoka traveling to Southwest Alabama to take on Milry. Milry, the runner-up out of Region 2. Lochapoka, ranked number 9 in the state and the number 4 team out of Region 3. We continue in South Alabama. Fruitdale, the Pirates coming in to take on the number 3 Maplesville Red Devils. Maplesville, the region champion out of Region 4. Also, we'll have Samson, as we'll see the Tigers traveling in to take on defending state champion Linden. Linden begins defense of their Class 1A state championship from 2020. They will be at home at Linden City Stadium hosting Samson. Linden, of course, this year the number 2 team out of Region 3. Also in South Alabama, our final games before we head north. Billingsley travels to Sweetwater, 2 tradition-rich programs meeting at Nolan Atkins Stadium in Sweetwater. Sweetwater comes in as the number 2 team in the state in the last WA poll. And also Central of Hayneville, the Lions traveling to Southeast Alabama to take on the Kinston Bulldogs in more Class 1A action. Now we head north in Class 1A. In our north first-round pairings, we will have a battle of East Alabama teams. The Woodland Bobcats traveling to Bruce Field and Cedar Bluff to take on the Cedar Bluff Tigers. Cedar Bluff, the region champion out of Region 7. Also up in northwest Alabama, Meek, the Tigers out of Arley, going to Cortland to take on the R.A. Hubbard Chiefs. That should be a great game. R.A. Hubbard out of Region 8, the runner-up. Meek, the Region 6, number 3 team. Galesville travels to Wadley, Cherokee County, to Randolph County in this one. Wadley lost their first game of the season last night in a battle of undefeateds to Spring Garden. Wadley still one of the top teams in Class 1A, hosting the Galesville Trojans. And also back up in northwest Alabama, Hackleburg will travel into Hubbardville to take on the Lions. Hubbardville, the runner-up out of Region 6. Also in North Alabama, as we continue to look at the pairings in Class 1A North, Marion County going to Decatur to face the Decatur Heritage Eagles, and also a battle of purple. You'll see a lot of purple in Valley Head. Raglan and Valley Head playing each other at Valley Head. They played in the opening game of the season, in the regular season, a game that Raglan won 40-14. Now a rematch in the first round of the Class 1A state playoffs. That will be at Tiger Stadium up in northeast Alabama at Valley Head. Also in Class 1A, Phillips of Bear Creek travels to Reform to take on Pickens County. Pickens County was in the Super 7 last year at Bryant-Denny Stadium, Tuscaloosa, trying to return as they host the Phillips Bears. Also, Summerton Christian traveling to Talladega County to take on the Winterboro Bulldogs in a great Class 1A matchup taking place at Winterboro. Now, we will go to Class 2A. We'll swing back down to the south now. J.U. Blackshear traveling to Isabella to take on the Mustangs. Isabella coming out of Region 3. The Mustangs, the region champions out of Region 3. And we mentioned the Thursday night game you'll see right here live on WOTM from Legion Stadium in Sylacauga. The B.B. Comer Tigers, the number 10 team in the state in the last ASWA poll, hosting G.W. Long out of Skipperville as the Rebels come to Legion Stadium. We'll catch that game live right here around the state on WOTM on Thursday night. The Thorsby Rebels going to Grove Hill to face the Clark County Bulldogs. Clark County was the number 1 team in the state. They had a loss, but they are going to be one of the top teams in Class 2A coming out of Region 1 as Clark County, the number 1 ranked team, as we said in last ASWA poll. Also in the South, the Lafayette Bulldogs travel to Ariton. They will take on the Purple Cats down in the Wiregrass in another great first-round matchup in Class 2A. Continuing in the Class 2A South, Geneva County, with their great running back Emmanuel Henderson out of Hartford, they will go into Morgan Washington Stadium in Lynette to face the Lynette Panthers. Great first-round matchup in Chambers County. Also, Greene County traveling to Luverne to take on the Tigers. And, of course, Luverne coming in as the runner-up out of Class 2A Region 3. Other games in the South in Class 2A, Ranburne makes the long road trip to Elba to take on the Elba Tigers. And how about a couple of great nicknames here? 2 of the best nicknames in Alabama. The Highland Home Flying Squadron, they go to Orange Beach to take on the Makos. What is a Mako? Mako is a shark. So we'll have the Flying Squadron flying into Orange Beach to take on the Makos. We go to Class 2A in North Alabama now. The Sulligent Blue Devils traveling cross-state from West Alabama to East Alabama. They go up to Sand Mountain to take on the Pisgah Eagles. The Southeastern Mustangs, great first-round matchup. They will be in North Alabama as they go to Lauderdale County to take on the Lexington Golden Bears, the runner-up out of Region 8. Also in Class 2A in the North, the North Sand Mountain Bison, they will be coming from Higdon down Sand Mountain to Metro Birmingham to face the Midfield Patriots. And Colbert County, the Indians, come to Blount County to face the Cleveland Panthers in a great first-round matchup. Cleveland, of course, coming in as the runner-up out of Region 6. Other first-round matchups in Class 2A in the North, the defending state champions in Class 2A, the Mars Hill Bible Panthers at home in Florence, beginning defense of their 2A state title. They will be taking on the Sandrock Wildcats up in Florence on Friday night, and the Tanner Rattlers will also be at home as the Lamar County Bulldogs of Vernon come up from West Alabama to take on Tanner up in the Tennessee Valley. Our final games in Class 2A in the North, we'll be seeing the Hatton Hornets coming to the Georgia border to take on the Spring Garden Panthers, their first official 10-0 season in school history at Spring Garden. And then another great matchup, this time East Alabama going to West Alabama. Eider Hornets going in to take on another group of insects, the Aliceville Yellow Jackets. That game will be over in Pickens County at Aliceville on Friday night. Now let's jump into Class 3A action as we're going to take a look at 3A in South Alabama. Some really great matchups coming up here. Flomaton, the Hurricanes, come up to Montgomery to face Montgomery Academy. Montgomery Academy, the region champion out of Region 3. Wicksburg, they will also be coming to Montgomery as they will take on Trinity Presbyterian. That game also there on the east side of Montgomery coming up on Friday night in the Class 3A first round playoffs. Hale County of Moundville, they will take on one of the all-time great programs, a team that has won over 700 games in state history, one of only 3 teams to do that. The T.R. Miller Tigers, that game will be at Bruton Municipal Stadium on Friday night. And the Reeltown Rebels, they will travel to Opp to face the Bobcats in another great game in Class 3A in South Alabama. Also in the Class 3A South, Houston Academy of Dothan, they come in to take on the team that was the runner-up last year in Class 3A, Montgomery Catholic out of Montgomery, the #1 team in the state. Also, they won the region title in Region 4, and they are the region champions. Also, Bayside Academy and Southside of Selma playing each other. That game will be at Southside as the Admirals come up from down in Daphne to take on Southside of Selma in the 3A South. Also in 3A, Dadeville goes into Slocum to face the Red Tops down in Geneva County. Also in the South in Class 3A, the Thomasville Tigers and the Hillcrest of Evergreen Jaguars. Great first round matchup. That game will be at Evergreen in the Class 3A South. We continue in Class 3A. We go north. This will be a rematch of a second round game from last year. Walter Welborn taking on Fife, of course, the defending Class 3A state champions. At one point in time earlier this season, they had the longest winning streak in the United States in high school football. Trying to start a new streak now with Walter Welborn coming to town. Phil Campbell, the Bobcats, will be at home as they host the J.B. Pennington Tigers from Bluntsville. That game up in Franklin County at Phil Campbell in the Class 3A North. Also in Class 3A, the Plainview Bears from Rainsville, they will travel to Anniston to face the Sacs Wildcats at Jack Stewart Field. Sacs, because of a 3-way tie, they won the tiebreaker last night. Sacs will be the region champion out of Class 3A Region 5. Colbert Heights, you're going to see the Wildcats going down to Walker County to take on Oatman. That will be a great matchup. Colbert Heights taking on the Oatman Wildcats in the Class 3A North. That game being played over at Oatman in Walker County. We continue in Class 3A North. Vinemont traveling up I-65. They'll go to Rogersville to face Lauderdale County. And a great first round matchup. Perennial power, the Piedmont Bulldogs on the road. They fell from a tie for first down to third out of Class 3A Region 5. They will go to DeKalb County to face a very good Sylvania Ram team up in DeKalb County on Friday night in the Class 3A North. Also in Class 3A, Clements traveling to Winfield to take on the Pirates. Winfield, a very good football team, ranked #4 in the state, the region champions out of Region 6. And also Geraldine, the team that ended the longest winning streak in America. They upset Fife a couple of weeks ago. They will go to the Creek Bank at Ohatchee to take on the Ohatchee Indians. Geraldine and Ohatchee in Class 3A action in the Class 3A North. So those are the brackets. We're setting those, all the games and the locations for classes 1A through 3A. When we come back, we'll take you through 4A, 5A, 6A, and 7A as we get into the larger schools in the state of Alabama. As we continue with our continuing coverage, we'll take you back to Montgomery as well, to the AHSAA state playoff football meeting going on at Alabama State, interviews, and a whole lot more as we roll on this Saturday morning live on WOTM.
Looking for a perfect checking account? Don't waste your time. No minimum balance, no monthly fees, and a convenient app. Now you could try and find that at a bank, or you could save yourself the trouble by checking with us.
Mr. President, Bessemer Superhighway is backed up. What are we going to do?
Are you serious? Get me the King Boys.
King Boys Towing is the fastest growing tow and recovery company in Birmingham and surrounding areas for one reason. Our customers are our top priority. Whether your car's been in an accident, it's stuck in the driveway and won't start, or you just need a tow to your preferred repair shop, give us a call. Our fleet of flatbed tow trucks will provide courteous and fast service. King Boys Towing, 205-428-3235.
I'm Roger, your in-house expert with Alabama Professional, and your questions keep pouring in to Ask Roger. Judy in Arndale asks, what services can APS provide? Alabama Professional offers basement waterproofing, foundation repair, humidity and mold control, and encapsulation of nasty crawl spaces. Since 1977, homeowners have entrusted APS to solve basement, foundation, and crawl space problems. Call for a free, no-obligation estimate today and keep those emails and questions coming.
Sarah Automotive is bringing you a sweet selection with our best pre-owned inventory of the year and new vehicles arriving daily. We're giving you early access to our slash-a-thon sale pricing. There's never been a better time to get more for your money. We've never paid more for your trade. Get a cash offer even if you don't buy from us. At Sarah Automotive, we're stepping on the gas and loading up our lot. Come in today and get more Ford, Honda, and Nissan for your money. No tricks, just slash prices all month long. Sarah Automotive, Highway 280, Sylacauga.
Every bank has their own app, but it's just that, theirs. At AmFirst, our app was made for you, so you can personalize your dashboard, pay your bills, and redeem points for rewards you'll love. Get the app made for you at AmFirst.
WOTM's live continuing coverage of the Alabama High School Athletic Association State Football Playoffs meeting, coming to you live from Alabama State University in Montgomery. Coach Alvin Briggs, Executive Director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, even as we speak, setting the brackets officially for the high school football playoffs, which begin next week across the state of Alabama. Speaking of next week and those games, a couple of those games will be brought to you live right here on WOTM. There will be 2 Thursday games in the state because we have stadiums that are shared in Madison and in Sylacauga. So Thursday night, we will bring you the Class 2A first round game between the B.B. Comer Tigers of Sylacauga playing host to the G.W. Long Rebels out of Skipperville. That game at Legion Stadium in Sylacauga. Airtime at 6:30 and kickoff at 7. And then on Friday night, we'll be right back at Legion Stadium in Sylacauga for Class 5A playoff action. Again, airtime 6:30, kickoff at 7. The Sylacauga Aggies and the Andalusia Bulldogs in 5A first round action right here live on WOTM. And live on WOTM, we're going to bring you all of the Super 7 state championship events, all 7 state championship games, and also for the first time ever, a little history will be made at Protective Stadium in Birmingham because we're going to bring you the first ever girls flag football state championship. That will kick things off actually on Wednesday afternoon in downtown Birmingham, and then we will have all the state championship games in football following on Wednesday night, Thursday all day, Friday all day, all the championship events, not just football, but basketball, baseball, and softball, right here exclusively, your television provider for all of those, WOTM. John Holder back with you at the WOTM studios. We are setting the bracket as well. We've been through classes 1A, 2A, and 3A. Now let's go into the larger schools in the state of Alabama, and we will begin with Class 4A, a wide open classification this year. It's going to be an interesting run in the playoffs in Class 4A. As always, we will begin in the South in Class 4A as we take a look at the Class 4A brackets for South Alabama. We will begin in the South with with Williamson out of Mobile. They will make the long journey north to Tuscaloosa to take on the American Christian Patriots, a semifinal team in the 4A playoffs from last year. Also in the South, now I know it may not seem like Jacksonville in North Alabama is a South Alabama team, but that's the way it falls. Jacksonville will be at home at Golden Eagle Stadium playing host to Alabama Christian, a rematch of a game. These two teams met last year in Montgomery in the second round. Alabama Christian won that game. They will rematch in the first round now in Jacksonville. Also in the South, West Blockton, the Tigers going in to the Mobile area to take on CF Viger. The Wolves were undefeated, lost on Thursday night to a very good St. Paul's team, the number 2 team in the final, or I should say the last ASWA poll. And another team that is actually way in North Alabama, the Cherokee County Warriors of Center. They will make the long trek to just outside of Andalusia in Covington County to take on the Strawn Tigers in the Class 4A South first round. Also in the South in Class 4A, Geneva and Hanley. Hanley and Thompson, 2 teams in the playoffs that have instant replays. There'll be instant replay for this Geneva-Hanley game. That will be at Wright Field in Roanoke. And of course, Hanley coming in, your defending Class 4A state champions. They won the 4A championship at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa last year. They will be hosting Geneva in the first round. Mobile Christian comes to Centerville. They will take on the Bibb County Choctaws in the Class 4A South as well. Also in the South, we've got a great matchup in the first round. The Anniston Bulldogs traveling to Montgomery to face St. James. This is actually a top 10 matchup. St. James number 8, Anniston number 10 in the final ASWA poll. And Montevallo, the Bulldogs traveling to Southwest Alabama to take on the Jackson Aggies in the 4A first round. Jackson, of course, the region champion out of Class 4A Region 1. We come to North Alabama in Class 4A now. Hamilton, the Aggies, go to Madison to face the number 1 team in the state in the final ASWA poll. Madison Academy had a huge win this week over 5A power Russellville. That'll be a great matchup in Madison. Also, the Etowah Blue Devils, a semifinalist in Class 4A last year. They travel to Morgan County to face the Priceville Bulldogs. Also in Class 4A in the North, another great matchups here. Madison County of Gurley goes to just outside of Tuscaloosa to the Samantha community to face the Northside Rams. Also Central of Florence, they come into Coleman County to face the Good Hope Raiders. That will be Good Hope, the runner-up out of Class 4A Region 6. Finally, in the Class 4A North, we've got the Dora Bulldogs going to Killen to face Brooks. The Lions hosting Dora, great first-round matchup there. And Fayette County, another one of the all-time great teams in state history, another team that won their 700th game in state history this year. Fayette County with legendary coach Walden Tucker on the road to take on a team that hasn't played football for very long, but they have their best team in school history, the Randolph Raiders. That game will be in the city of Huntsville coming up next Friday night. Finally, in Class 4A in the North, the T.M. Rogers Pirates out of Florence coming to Aniana to face the Redskins at Gilbert Stadium. And the North Jackson Chiefs will take on the team that was the state runner-up last year, the Gordo Green Wave. That game will be over in West Alabama in Pickens County at Gordo. That's Class 4A. Now, let's jump ahead now as we switch to Class 5A. 5A in the South, BC Rain out of Mobile. The Red Raiders come up to Demopolis to take on the Tigers. Demopolis, the region champions out of Class 5A Region 3. Also the game you'll see right here live on Friday night from Legion Stadium in Sylacauga, live on WOTM. That great 5A matchup should be a huge game, monster game here between Andalusia and the Sylacauga Aggies. Also in 5A in the South, Alabama, part of the bracket, Marbury Bulldogs have the unenviable task of going to Mobile to take on an always tough UMS Wright prep team with their legendary coach Terry Curtis. Never count out UMS Wright. That'll be a great game in Mobile. Also the Tallahassee Tigers and the Greenville Tigers. Great first round matchup, battle of felines taking place down I-65 at Greenville in South Alabama. Also in the 5A South, Carroll of Ozark coming in to take on one of the legendary programs in state history, a team that has won a couple of state championships in recent years in Class 5A, Central of Clay County. That game will be at Volunteer Stadium in Clay County. Faith Academy, a team that was a point away in overtime of being in the Super 7 last year. Faith Academy out of Mobile will come to Columbiana to face the Shelby County Wildcats in the 5A South bracket. Also in the South, in 5A, some other great teams down here. Holtville, the Bulldogs go to Pike Road. A powerhouse team are the Patriots down in Montgomery County, and the Selma Saints and the St. Paul's Episcopal Saints. Your defending state champions in Class 5A. St. Paul's will be at home hosting Selma in the 5A first round. St. Paul's, the number 10 team in the final ASWA poll. We bring it to North Alabama in Class 5A. Ramsey and Gunnersville. That will be right on the shores of Lake Gunnersville at Chorba-Lee Stadium. Ramsey and Gunnersville in the Class 5A North. Also in Class 5A in North Alabama, Center Point, the Eagles fly up to Capshaw to take on the East Limestone Indians in Class 5A in North Alabama. East Limestone, the runner-up out of Class 5A Region 8. We also have Douglas and Pleasant Grove. The Eagles going in to take on the Spartans. Pleasant Grove has been in the Super 7 the last 2 years, have not won a state championship, looking for their first state championship in football. Pleasant Grove, the number 2 team in the state in the last ASWA poll, hosting Douglas. The Leeds Green Wave, they will be at home as the Lee Generals out of Huntsville come in to take on Leeds. Leeds, the runner-up out of Class 5A Region 6. Also in 5A in North Alabama, gold will be the color. The Golden Bears of Lincoln going in to take on the Golden Tigers of Russellville. That game will be at Russellville in the 5A North. And we hope for fair skies. Things will be very fair in Fairfield and Fairview. That game will be up in Coleman County at Fairview as the Fairview Aggies play host to the Fairfield Tigers out of Metro Birmingham in the Class 5A North. Also in Class 5A, Ardmore, they sit right there on the Tennessee border in Madison County. Coming to one of the legendary venues in all of high school football, Death Valley and Alexandria. Ardmore and Alexandria. Alexandria undefeated, the number 3 team in the last ASWA poll. And the Boaz Pirates go into Metro Birmingham to take on a very good A.H. Parker Thundering Herd team. That game will be in Birmingham coming up next Friday night in the 5A North. When we come back, we'll go to the largest schools in the state of Alabama, Classes 6A and Class 7A. We're going to take you back to Montgomery, interviews, and a whole lot more as we continue with WOTM's live coverage of the Alabama High School Athletic Association state football playoff meetings today from Montgomery and right here live from WOTM.
Looking for a perfect checking account? Don't waste your time. No minimum balance, no monthly fees, and a convenient app. Now you could try and find that at a bank, or you could save yourself the trouble by checking with us.
Mr. President, Bessemer Superhighway is backed up. What are we going to do?
Are you serious? Get me the King Boys.
King Boys Towing is the fastest growing tow and recovery company in Birmingham and surrounding areas for one reason. Our customers are our top priority. Whether your car's been in an accident, it's stuck in the driveway and won't start, or you just need a tow to your preferred repair shop, give us a call. Our fleet of flatbed tow trucks will provide courteous and fast service. King Boys Towing, 205-428-3235.
I'm Roger, your in-house expert with Alabama Professional, and your questions keep pouring in to Ask Roger. Judy in Arndale asked, what services can APS provide? Alabama Professional offers basement waterproofing, foundation repair, humidity and mold control, and encapsulation of nasty crawl spaces. Since 1977, homeowners have entrusted APS to solve basement, foundation, and crawl space problems. Call for a free, no-obligation estimate today and keep those emails and questions coming.
AHSAA Automotive is bringing you a sweet selection with our best pre-owned inventory of the year and new vehicles arriving daily. We're giving you early access to our slash-a-thon sale pricing. There's never been a better time to get more for your money. We've never paid more for your trade. Get a cash offer even if you don't buy from us. At AHSAA Automotive, we're stepping on the gas and loading up our lot. Come in today and get more Ford, Honda, and Nissan for your money. No tricks, just slash prices all month long. AHSAA Automotive, Highway 280, Sylacauga.
Every bank has their own app, but it's just that, theirs. At AmFirst, our app was made for you, so you can personalize your dashboard, pay your bills, and redeem points for rewards you'll love. Get the app made for you at AmFirst.
Lots of great information today here live on WOTM as we bring you our exclusive live coverage of the Alabama High School Athletic Association first round playoff meeting in Montgomery. They won't have these meetings again until the semifinals. They're going virtual, so this was the big meeting today on the campus of Alabama State University in Montgomery. Executive Director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, Alvin Briggs, setting the bracket even as we speak, just like we're doing with you here on WOTM. We have been through classes 1A through 5A, and now as we come back here to WOTM, we are going to go through classes 6A and 7A. John Holder with you on this football Saturday morning. What better way to kick off a football Saturday than getting ready for the Alabama High School Athletic Association state football playoffs? Let's jump to the largest schools in the state of Alabama, classes 6A and 7A, and tell you about all of those first round matchups that are coming up. We begin in class 6A, and we will begin actually in the north this time. And we'll have Chelsea coming to take on the Oxford Yellow Jackets. That game will be at Lamar Field in Oxford coming up on Friday night. Also in the north in Class 6A, Pinson Valley, the defending state champions. Pinson Valley will be on the road in the first round as they will travel to Northwest Alabama to the Quad Cities to take on perennial power Muscle Shoals, the Trojans hosting the Indians in the 6A North. Also in Class 6A, as we continue looking at the Class 6A first round pairings in the north, Mountain Brook, very good football team. You've seen them several times here on WOTM with our AHSAA Game of the Week. This is the number 3 team in the state in Class 6A, hosting the Southside Crimson Panthers out of Gadsden area. That game will be at Mountain Brook on Friday night. Jackson-Olin, the Mustangs at home. Coleman Bearcats making the short journey down I-65 to Birmingham to take on Jackson-Olin. Jackson-Olin, the runner-up out of Class 6A, Region 6. Also in the north in 6A, a very good football team. The Hartselle Tigers, the number 2 team in the last ASWA poll, hosting the Gardendale Rockets. Another short trip up and down I-65 there for Gardendale. And the Arab Knights, having one of the best seasons in school history. Coach Lee Osment and the Knights, they will be hosting the Homewood Patriots coming up to Arab to play in their new stadium at Arab, coming up in the 6A North first round playoff action. Also in 6A in the north, the Decatur Red Raiders coming in to take on the number 1 team in the state in Class 6A, the Clay Chalkville Cougars out in Clay in Jefferson County. Should be a good matchup there. And then also, you heard Ron Ingram talking about the great kicker from Fort Payne. Fort Payne comes to Birmingham to face Briarwood Christian in the Metro Birmingham area in the Class 6A North. That is a first round playoff matchup between the Wildcats and also with Briarwood Christian. Now, let's go to the 6A South. Baldwin County coming up from Bay Minette. They'll take on Helena. Also in 6A in the South in the first round, Carver of Montgomery. The Wolverines head over to Tuscaloosa to take on the Hillcrest Patriots over in Tuscaloosa County. Also in the Class 6A South, we're going to see Wetumpka on the road to face a very good Saraland team. Saraland out of Class 6A Region 1. That will be a fantastic game taking place down in South Alabama in Mobile County. Also, McAdory, they will go to Montgomery to the Crampton Bowl, where the Yellow Jackets will take on the Robert E. Lee Generals. That game will be in downtown Montgomery at the Crampton Bowl on Friday night. Continuing in the 6A South, Eufaula, the Tigers make the long journey up to West Jefferson County to face the Hueytown Golden Gophers. And also perennial power, McGill-Tulane Catholic of Mobile. They make a long road trip up I-65 as they will be in Shelby County to take on the Pelham Panthers in the 6A South. And also, as we continue looking at 6A South, Northridge out of Tuscaloosa, they travel to Opelika to Bulldog Stadium to take on the Opelika Bulldogs. And also Calera and Spanish Fort. That will be a huge game taking place at Spanish Fort. The Toros, one of the top teams in the state runner-up in Class 6A from last year, trying to make it back to the Super 7 in Birmingham out of the Class 6A South. Well, we promised you some interviews, and we've got a great one coming up. We're going to take you now back down to Alabama State University in Montgomery. We have the head coach of the Handley Tigers. They know all about the state playoffs. Larry Strain joins us now. His team spent a good portion of this year as the number 1 team in the state in Class 4A. They're the defending Class 4A state champions. Back to try to do it again. Coach Strain, glad to have you with us here this morning on WOTM.
We're always excited to be here and always excited to get ready for these playoffs. This is something that we look forward to all the time.
Coach, can you describe, you're a veteran coach, you've been through this with a number of schools, you've been to Super Sevens, won state championships. I don't know, Coach, if there's anything better in my mind than high school football playoff time, particularly the way we do it in the state of Alabama.
Well, the state of Alabama does it the right way. The Alabama High School Athletic Association, is first class. Nobody else compares to them, in my opinion. It's always the excitement in there when you get to the playoffs. It's 2 seasons for a lot of the schools here in the state, and our kids really look forward to it and look for that path to try to get back and have a chance to win another state championship.
Coach, one of the things you haven't done, you've been to Jordan-Hare Stadium, you've been to Bryant-Denny Stadium, but you haven't been to Protective Stadium in Birmingham, and we've heard a lot about that this morning. You've been to Legion Field, but not Protective Stadium. Your thoughts about playing in this exciting new venue in downtown Birmingham, with the potential to play in that anyway? As you speak for maybe on behalf of coaches around the state of Alabama, I think most high school coaches probably haven't been inside this stadium. Even teams that don't make the state championship game, most coaches go to the state championships. Your thoughts on this new venue this year?
Well, one you left out, I got to play at the Hoover Met as well the year that we had the hurricane that came through. So I've got to experience all the different venues, and I'm excited about coming to this new stadium. I hadn't had an opportunity to get there myself, but I hear that it's going to be great for high school sports, especially compared with the size of the other stadiums that we have to play in. I think it's going to be, like the term they use, a little more intimate for our high school programs and the high school fans, because it's going to be right down there on the sideline, according to what I hear. Just looking forward to it, and just hope we get the opportunity to get back and get to play in the new stadium.
Coach, I had forgotten about that. They had weather and all kind of things that delayed games. They had to actually play a round of games over at the Hoover Met. I did some of those games, broadcast. I do remember that. Thank you for reminding me of that. There have actually been 4 venues officially for the Super 7. Let's talk about your team this year. Folks that watched the game last year in your state championship win over Gordo, they no doubt remember the name Tay Meadows, the state MVP in Class 4A last year. He's back this year. And, Coach, I think he's one of the top running backs probably anywhere in the South, and he's had another phenomenal year. I know he had some injuries early in the year, but he's just a really great football player.
Well, first of all, he's a great kid, and he's got a lot of great character about him because he's got a good mom and daddy to start with. But, he's a very talented young man that, we obviously try to get him the football, and people try to stop him in the game, no doubt, because, they know that we're going to try to run the football. So we try to spread it out to all of the kids on our team, obviously, to help us a little bit offensively there. But it's always great to have a back like Tay Meadows in the backfield that's so versatile. He's so strong, got the top end speed that can run as well. But he'll tell you right off the bat, going back to last year, there's a lot of blocking going on at that offensive line. The offensive lineman did a great job for us last year, and we're trying to gel into that this year as well.
Coach, walk us through this season this year. You began right here on WOTM in Montgomery at the Kickoff Classic, taking on Guntersville, a very impressive win. It's been another kind of crazy season for your football team, especially with some of the injuries you had to deal with. Just kind of take us through the season over in Roanoke and how it's been for your Hanley Tigers.
Well, it started off, like you said, at Crampton Bowl, playing in the Kickoff Classic there at Guntersville. Thought we played real well in that game, especially we started off extremely fast. But then, we because of COVID, we didn't have but 9 games this year. We went through a week off, then a game, then another week there. And so it seemed like we didn't get to play much. Well, it got into the Mumford game. We had 23 kids that come down with the COVID virus, including myself. So that first game back, after we had that break, was extremely hard for our team. We had a lot of people that had to step up, a lot of my assistant coaches, because I couldn't be there because I was obviously positive with COVID at that time. And then we had a lot of things to overcome in that one game at the Mumford game. And then you roll around and you play Cleveland County, who is a very, very much improved team that, really gave us a dogfight in that game there. But, we kind of came together. But then, of course, we play the Net in a nail biter down there at our place in a 1-point victory. I think we ended up kicking a 30-something yard PAT simply because we had a penalty on the play. So that was a huge, exciting game. And then, of course, you've got folks that come in like Cherokee County that does an excellent job, Jacksonville that was close games, and then, of course, Anniston that is extremely talented, and they do an extremely good job there, well as coaching. And, and then we finished up last night with an nail-biter, like you said, with Clay Central last night.
Coach, walk us through kind of your philosophy about playoffs. No one knows any better about playoff experience, what it takes to get to the Super 7. You know your team. You got Geneva coming in for the first round playoff game there at Wright Field in Roanoke Friday night. What are you looking for from your football team? If you want to get back and play in the Super 7 and actually play there at Protective Stadium, what's got to happen for this Handley team this year?
Well, obviously, anytime that you get back to the state championship game, you got to be extremely talented to start with. You got to be good, but the ball's got to bounce your way at some point during the season. And of course, you always got to stay away from the injury bug. That's no doubt. But I always tell my teams that the teams that's going to make the great run is the teams that continue to improve in the season. Every time that I've happened to get to play in the Super 7 or the Super 6 games there, it was the high school teams that I had, they were the teams that continually to improve and continually to get better. Because a lot of the times it was really a surprise to me because we didn't play well in Game 10 or maybe even in the first round of the playoffs. But I think the teams, in order to stay hot, they have to continue to improve and continue to work. And that's what I'm trying to stress to my team right now.
Coach, thank you so much for spending some time with us. I know it's busy down there in Montgomery, a lot going on. One of the finest coaches in high school football in this state, Larry Strain of the defending Class 4A state champion Handley Tigers. Coach, thank you so much for spending time with us here on WOTM this morning.
Yes, sir. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, sir.
Larry Strain, head coach of the Handley High School Tigers. They are going to be at home in the first round of the Class 4A state playoffs. They had a lot of home games this year for a variety of reasons. Handley and Geneva, the Panthers coming up from down in Geneva County to Wright Field. They will take on Handley. That'll be a great first round matchup. You see the winner of that game will take on the winner of Mobile Christian and Bibb County. That game taking place over in Centerville between the Leopards and the Choctaws. Let's talk about some other things you're going to see right here on WOTM as we make our way through the state playoffs. We'll tell you that we not only have games during the playoffs, but we will have all of the state championship games, 1A through 7A exclusively. Your television home for all AHSAA championship events is WOTM. We're even going to bring you this year the first ever girls flag football state championship game to kick things off at Protective Stadium in Birmingham on that Wednesday afternoon of Super 7. And we'll be back with more live continuing coverage of the AHSAA state football playoff meetings. Things kind of wrapping up down at Alabama State University in Montgomery, live on WOTM.
I'm Roger, your in-house expert with Alabama Professional, and your questions keep pouring in to Ask Roger. Judy in Arndale asks, what services can APS provide? Alabama Professional offers basement waterproofing, foundation repair, humidity and mold control, and encapsulation of nasty crawl spaces. Since 1977, homeowners have entrusted APS to solve basement, foundation, and crawl space problems. Call for a free, no-obligation estimate today and keep those emails and questions coming.
The perfect checking account doesn't exist. Not at a bank, that is. So why do you keep looking there? At AmFirst, you can get no minimum balance or monthly fees, an instant issue debit card, and free checks with unlimited check writing. But who doesn't want more? Like a rewards program you'll actually use, and convenient digital tools that make it easy to manage your account from anywhere. Now you could try and find that at a bank, or you could save yourself the trouble by checking with us.
Back on WOTM, you see things wrapping up down at the Alabama State University campus in Montgomery, where we had every high school head coach of every team that is going to be in the Alabama High School Athletic Association state football playoffs. They're setting the bracket, getting their instructions for the playoffs that begin next Thursday night with 2 games in the state, and then also most of the games coming up on Fridays. We are with you all the way until 11 o'clock, giving you all kind of playoff information. John Holder back with you in the WOTM studios. And right now, we're going to take you back to Montgomery. We've got the head coach at Greene County High School, Corey Cockrell, with us. Coach, glad to have you with us here statewide this morning on WOTM.
Thank you so much.
Coach, let's talk about let's talk about your football team this year. Tell us all about Greene County.
Well, last year, we had to forfeit the whole year. It was very detrimental to our community and to our players. They had a down year last year with everybody else playing and we wasn't playing. But this year we fought back strong. It's a positive note throughout the community. The energy is very strong this week, us making the playoffs, and we really appreciate the Alabama High School Athletic Association for supporting us and doing everything they can do on their end to make sure we were successful this year.
Coach, you probably in a unique position that most high school football coaches have never been in, going back to that 2020 season, a crazy season. You had to forfeit the entire season. The emotions you felt of having to do that, certainly not something that anyone wants to do. Nobody loves high school football more than the head coaches that coach the teams. And to lose an entire season, tell us about the emotions of that.
Well, the emotions was very strong. Not having a season, it was very emotional for my seniors. It was very emotional for the community. So it was very hurtful, but at the same time they understood, and we just appreciate the opportunity to be back this year and in the playoffs.
And Coach, as much as maybe there was a sadness and a negative to having to forfeit the entire season last year, now to come back and have a full season this year and not only have a season but have a successful season and be in the Class 2A state playoffs, it's got to be like a night and day scenario, I would think.
Yes, it is. The community have a lot of energy. The players have a lot of energy. They're very excited about this year. They're very excited about being in the playoffs. And we just want to appreciate our board members, our superintendent, our principals for supporting us, and the Alabama High School Athletic Association for just allowing us a chance to play in the playoffs.
And you have a first-round playoff game in Class 2A on the road, going to take on Luverne down in South Central Alabama. Certainly, when you start talking about tradition-rich programs in any class, you talk about the Luverne Tigers. Tell us about the matchup. I know you don't know a whole lot probably yet about Luverne, but your impressions on the road trip to take on the Tigers.
Well, Luverne is a great team, and we just have to prepare well and come up with some schemes to try to slow them down. Like I said, they're a great team. We well-respected team, well-respected community, and we just want to try to do our thing and do our part of being disciplined enough to just compete with Luverne.
Have you had a lot of reach out from other coaches? Obviously, they know your situation, maybe even coaches today that were you didn't have a season last year and now you're back and you're in the playoffs. What about the support from maybe surrounding coaches over in West Alabama and around the state?
Oh, yeah, we have had great support from other coaches, primarily Orange Beach, St. Luke, South Selma coaches. The coaches in West Alabama and all over have been very supportive of us, and we really appreciate everything that they have done and everybody else have done to support Greene County.
Well, the excitement has to be off the charts, especially after what happened last year, to have this kind of season and be in the state playoffs. I would imagine the entire county, top to bottom, Bola G, Utah, everywhere, they're excited about what's happening with Greene County football.
Yes, sir. We're very excited all over Greene County about the opportunity that we have, and we're going to try to make the best of it.
Coach, thank you for spending time with us. We'll let you get back home from the meetings in Montgomery today. Best wishes to your football team as you travel to Luverne.
Thank you so much.
Coy Cockrell is the head coach of Greene County High School. Did not have a season last year, and now in the Class 2A state playoffs. All right, we want to talk about, again, WOTM. We've got a lot of great things coming up here. We've got the AHSAA state championship games live right here on WOTM, and we've got playoff games, and we've got all kinds of things going on. I think we've got another interview set up right now as we go back to Montgomery, so let's go back, and I'm not sure exactly who we have here. T.R. Miller, Coach. Hey, Coach, glad to have you with us here. Glad to have you with us here on WOTM. And let's talk about football playoffs, and let's talk about T.R. Miller.
All right, good. Glad to be here this morning.
Brent Hubbard is the head coach at TR Miller. Coach Hubbard, we've had you with us here on WOTM on our AHSAA weekly show earlier to talk about 700 wins in the history of TR Miller High School. Outstanding accomplishment. Want to go back and talk about that before we get talking about the playoffs, but just what that meant to the Bruton community and to you being the head coach when TR Miller won that 700th game, and just we talked earlier on the AHSAA Weekly about all the old players and the alumni that came back. It's just been a really kind of a magical thing that's happened there with this great accomplishment for TR Miller High School.
Man, it was almost like having 3 homecomings with that game. I had a lot of alumni back, football players. Coach Riggs came in, did a great job. We had players that spoke in the dressing room, the old players just in there before the game in the dressing room with our kids. It was awesome, man. I was just blessed to be a part of it and be at Bruton the last 3 years. It's been awesome. You know, that being homecoming and a regular homecoming, and then also the Neal game. So it's like having 3 homecomings, that was for sure.
Coach, let's talk about this year's team specifically. You've got another great football team in Bruton, as evidenced by Ron Ingram talking about earlier when he addressed all the coaches. One of the most successful playoff teams in state history is TR Miller. Not only regular season with all the 700-plus wins you've racked up, but in playoffs, TR Miller has always been a state title contender. You got another great team this year. Tell us about this 2021 Tiger team.
This team is, I think the strongest point, I think, is unity. I think this team really loves each other, and there's a lot of love in that dressing room. They believe in the coaches believe in the kids. They come to work every day, and it's just been it's one of those things you look back. I hope the kids look back 20 years from now, and it's just been a great experience for them. And, you know, we'll try to be where our feet are at and take it one week at a time in the playoffs.
And there's nothing in the playoffs you haven't seen coming out of the region you're in. We talk about a lot how Class 3A Region 1, you go back over the last decade or so especially, this region and the region up, Region 5 up in Northeast Alabama, those 2 regions have kind of dominated for the most part 3A football. Great football played in your region. Tell us how tough it is to play in Class 3A Region 1.
I know, it's almost like, I guess you would say, the SEC West with you got Flomaton, Bayside, Chickasaw, Cottage Hill. I may have said Flomaton. I mean, it's each week it's just like you got to get ready. It's emotional wear down. Added in with a physical wear down. So, getting the kids back each week, it's a challenge in itself.
Let's talk about this 2021 TR Miller Tiger team. What can folks expect to see from TR Miller if they're going to come out to the game on Friday night? What can they expect from the Tigers?
Well, we hope we hang true to what TR Miller stands for, and that's tough kids, play with a lot of pride and a lot of heart, and we hope you see resiliency and just relentless effort, and they're going to give everything they got for TR Miller.
Hale County coming to town. They travel down from Moundville to Bruton, coming into Bruton Municipal Stadium to play on Friday night against your Tigers. The winner of that, as we see on the graphic here, they'll take on the winner of the Reeltown Opp game, game being played over at Opp. Coach, thank you so much for joining us again here on WOTM. Best wishes to you and your TR Miller Tiger football team.
Thank y'all. Thank you for what you do.
Brent Hubbard, head coach of the TR Miller Tigers, one of the legendary programs in all of high school football in the state of Alabama, getting ready for the first round of the Class 3A state playoffs. They will be at home in Bruton on Friday night as the Hale County Wildcats from Moundville come to town. All right, we've got coaches just lining up. We're just lining them up. I think we've got the head coach at Linden High School coming up next. And so we've got Travis Lockett lined up. Coach, your team, you're a defending state champion in Class 1A, back to try to do it again. Welcome into WOTM. Glad to have you with us this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Coach, a very impressive run. We'll go back to 2020 before we talk about 2021. But, of course, folks saw your football team at Bryant-Denny Stadium last year and the very impressive win against Pickens County. That was a magical season for Linden, and you had a great football team. Talk about the experience, because I think a lot of folks maybe never get to experience going to the Super 7 as a coach and winning a state championship. What was it like taking your football team into Bryant-Denny Stadium?
Brian Denny was a great experience for the kids, the coaching staff, and the fans of Linden. Just a great experience. You know, we watch Alabama football every weekend, whether you're an Alabama or Auburn fan, and you know, it's always great to be in, you know, one of those venues, one of these great venues that we have in the state, and have an opportunity to play in this venue and win in it. You know, it's surreal, just an unbelievable experience.
Coach, there's going to be some teams this year that will make history because they'll be the first teams to ever play at the new Protective Stadium in Birmingham. For your team to get there, to get back to the Super 7 Class 1A state championship game, what's got to happen with this Linden team to make another run and get back to the Super 7?
This year we're very young, man. We know we're losing 16 seniors off of last year's team, 10 starters on defense, 9 starters on offense. Have a very young team, but they're learning, they're growing. In order for us to make a run this year, we have to stay healthy and continue to compete and learn and develop week to week. And the goal will have to be 1-0 at the end of each week. You know, we play next Friday night at home, and we're going to try to get through that one first before we actually, you know, try to tackle the goal of being in Birmingham at Protective Stadium. So the goal for us is to go 1-0 week to week, and you know, as we say, we'll see what his train stops at, you know, and hopefully it will be in Birmingham in the new stadium.
You will be at home next week there in Linden and Marengo County, welcoming in the Sampson Tigers coming up from South Alabama. You're the runner-up there out of Class 1A Region 3. Should be a great matchup. The winner of that game, as we're showing the bracket here to our audience, you'll be taking on the winner of the Fruitdale-Maplesville game. But again, you come out of a very tough region. The level of football that's played where you play over there in West Alabama is very good. Tell us about the schedule and the region that you play in.
We kind of loaded the schedule last year, trying to prepare our kids, you know, for like a tough playoff run to the teams in our area, not just our region, but the teams in our area, the Marengos and the Sweetwaters. You know, we knew we would eventually cross courses with those, so I tried to prepare our team physically by playing up in competition last year. And you know, home and away 2 years, so we had to play the same teams this year. We started off with a jamboree with Thomasville, which gave us some good experience for our young kids, and then we played Pickens County, the team that we played twice last year. Started off with a tough schedule, playing our region champions, Keith, who's playing great this year. You know, I think they're 9-1 and they're number 1 in the region. And we struggled in some areas, but our kids, you know, they keep battling, they keep fighting, and we're learning. You know, with us only having two seniors on the roster, we got a loaded junior class and a loaded freshman class. So the thing now is trying to continue to develop these kids and try to build this thing for the future.
Coach Lockett, thank you for spending time with us. Best wishes to you and your Linden Patriot football team as you make your way through the Class 1A state playoffs.
Thank you.
Travis Lockett is the head coach of the defending Class 1A state champion, the Linden Patriots. And that is a team that basically is going to try to get back to the Super 7 this year at Birmingham at Protective Stadium. It'll be interesting to watch Linden as we move through the Class 1A playoffs. All right, we're going to take you back to Alabama State University, back to Montgomery, back to the meetings. We've got all kinds of interviews lined up for you. The Director of Officials for the Alabama High School Athletic Association is Ken Washington. You heard Ken earlier addressing the coaches, talking about some of the things, talking about the officiating crews, talking about chain gangs, talking about electronic clock operators, 40-second clock operators. It's amazing the detail that makes a high school football playoff game happen. And one of the key parts of that, of course, is the officiating. And so Ken Washington, Director of Officials for the AHSAA, joins us at this time. Ken, good morning. Glad to have you with us here once again on WOTM.
Good morning, John. I'm glad to be here, man. What a blessed time and a great time of year. Look, last year we was in COVID. We're in COVID this year, and thank God we're able to play for these student athletes, especially those seniors, man, having that opportunity to go out there and perform their God-given gifts and be able to display that for everybody, man. And we're just very thankful that we're able to do so.
Ken, very good words there this morning as we begin the playoffs. I want to talk with you about the importance of officials in this because there's a lot at stake. These are playoff games that lead to other playoff games that eventually lead to a state championship. So the officiating and getting things right is very, very important. You're the director of that, and I think you'll join me in saying not only do we have the best playoffs and we have the best association of high school athletics in this country, I personally feel like we have some of the best officials anywhere in the United States as well.
Absolutely, man. We put a lot of demand on our officials in the past years, and this year, man, we're asking for the best. These officials that are selected have displayed all the qualities that make a good officials, and we want to just make sure we have the best officials available out there officiating these ball games at these critical points. Just like next week, it'll be half the teams that we had here today, and it'll also be half the officials. So they out there trying to do their best because they want to move on just like these teams are, because it's a great honor when we get to Super 7 to display our teams out there and then them be recognized as one of the best officials in the 2021 seasons in the Alabama High School Athletic Association. So we're very excited to be here, and I know they're excited to be out there, and they're going to do their best because they want to advance just like each and every team.
Ken, you make a good point that I want to expand on there, and that is these are the best teams in the state. Not every team makes the state playoffs. It's just the top 4 out of each region that make the playoffs. So these are the best teams. It's the same way, I'm assuming, with the officials. Not every official gets to call playoff games. These are the top officials, and as you said, as we move through the playoffs, get into deeper rounds and the games become slimmer, the officiating crews become slimmer, and you wind up with the very best of the best, right?
That's absolutely correct. I'm telling you, they went through a lot of different trainings to get started. They had to attend when we got off as Forest in front of their district director. They had to display their skills and be ready to be able to go through the education process. They had to take a classification exam, which some of the coaches had an opportunity to take, and they would tell you firsthand those tests was not easy. They had to make an 80 above there. And then the last thing they have to do, they have to be able to display management skills and the confidence and be able to communicate with these coaches. And all of those things go on evaluation and submitted to our office when they are recommending these officials for the playoffs. So we hold our officials accountable, and we want to do that to make sure we have some kind of accountability as we're selecting them for the playoffs.
People, I think, are listening and watching this morning, just getting a little taste of what it means to be a top quality official in the state of Alabama and the effort that's put in. It's impressive what happens with our officials in the state and the effort that goes into making sure that we have the very best. And of course, that begins at the top with you, Ken, and filters all the way down to our local officials. Thank you for spending time and giving us some insight into the officiating part of the state high school football playoffs.
John, the last thing I'd like to say before I let you go, man, I appreciate all those district directors, our coordinators, our local association leaders. I'm telling you, I have nothing to do with the success of these officials. They have set forth their own effort, and they have put in the time. And those people that don't get the credit all the time, they do deserve the credit for where our officials are today. And I can't thank them much more than I possibly could, because I wouldn't be in this position without them. So I really do appreciate the leadership that we have.
Ken, thank you so much for joining us once again. Ken Washington, the Director of Officials for the Alabama High School Athletic Association, joining us live this morning from Alabama State University in Montgomery at the AHSAA State Football Playoff Meetings. Ken, thank you so much.
Thank you too, John. Thank you. Have a good day.
Ken Washington, Director of Officials for the Alabama High School Athletic Association. All right, coming up next here on WOTM, I think we're going to do some brackets, I believe, possibly here as we continue with our live continuing coverage here on WOTM of the Alabama High School Athletic Association State Football Playoffs, as we will bring it back here on WOTM.
I'm Roger, your in-house expert with Alabama Professional, and your questions keep pouring in to Ask Roger. Stan in Mountain Brook asked, our basement is damp, musty, and humid. Can APS help? Stan, almost half of the air you breathe comes from your basement. A wet or damp basement worsens allergies and damages valuables. We'll transform your basement into a dry, usable space and improve the air quality of your home. Call for a free, no-obligation estimate today and keep those emails and questions coming.
Since 1848, First Bank of Alabama has been dedicated to our customers and excellence in all areas. With constant improvements to our facilities, to adding new products and services to better serve you, our team is fully engaged in all the communities we serve. First Bank of Alabama knows that time is money, so we offer hometown services with advanced technology that allows you to bank on your own schedule. We want to be your community bank, so stop by. Come see us at First Bank of Alabama, where you're always first.
Back at the Alabama State University campus in Montgomery, things wrapping up. The coaches have had a long Friday night, and now they've had to drive to Montgomery, and now some of those folks have 3-4 hour drives or more back to their respective hometowns. But the Alabama High School Athletic Association state football playoffs are underway. The brackets are set, and we're getting ready for playoff action in the first round starting next week. John Holder back with you at WOTM. Before we had that flurry of interviews, we were going through the brackets, and we still have one more classification to get to, and that is the largest classification in the state, which is Class 7A. Now, they only have 5 rounds of playoffs. Not as many teams qualify in Class 7A because there's not as many teams. So only 4 rounds of playoffs, but their first round begins this week as well. So let's now set the bracket for Class 7A. We will begin in the 7A South. Daphne and Central of Phoenix City. Great football programs here. This will be at Garrett Harrison Stadium in Phoenix City on Friday night. You probably saw Central of Phoenix City here on WOTM on Thursday night in our statewide game of the week with their very impressive win against Oxford. They'll be back at home in Phoenix City hosting Daphne in the 7A South first round. Also in the South, Theodore will be at home. Prattville, the Lions, going down to Theodore in Mobile County to take on the Bobcats in Class 7A first round action. They are the runner-up out of Class 7A Region 1. Also in the South, Enterprise and Fairhope. This will be a huge game taking place in Baldwin County at Fairhope as Enterprise goes in to take on the Fairhope Pirates. Great game in Baldwin County. And the Baker Hornets out of Mobile. They'll travel from the west side of Mobile to Auburn to Duck Sanford Stadium to face the Auburn Tigers. Auburn coming in as the number 4 ranked team in the state in the last ASWA Class 7A poll. Now we go to 7A North. This is regions 3 and 4. Oak Mountain, the Eagles, they will go to James Clemens to take on the Jets. That will be a Thursday night game. We mentioned 2 Thursday games, one being in 2A, the game you'll see right here on WOTM between B.B. Comer and G.W. Long. This will be the other Thursday game at Madison City Stadium, Oak Mountain and James Clemens. And then also on Friday night, we will have Florence and 2-time defending Class 7A state champion Thompson. That game will be in Alabaster in the 7A North. Also in the 7A North, the other first round games, Sparkman going in to take on number 1 ranked Hoover. That game will be at Hoover. And the other game that will be at the Madison City Stadium, the reason we have a Thursday night game is because there are 2 teams in the playoffs that share that stadium. The other team, Bob Jones, the Patriots, will be playing close to Hewitt-Trussville. Hewitt-Trussville will make the trip from Jefferson County up to Madison to take on Bob Jones. So that's the 7A bracket, Class 7A, North and South in Class 7A. Now, we've got a lot of programming coming up for you here on WOTM that we need to tell you about. A couple of games in the first round, Super 7 state championship games as well. Thursday night, as we mentioned, Class 2A action from Legion Stadium in Sylacauga. The B.B. Comer Tigers hosting the G.W. Long Rebels, coming up from Skipperville in the Wiregrass in southeast Alabama. The airtime for that is 6:30. Kickoff for all Alabama High School Athletic Association playoff games will be 7 o'clock. That game live right here on WOTM on Thursday, one of 2 Thursday night games in the state of Alabama in the football playoffs. And then we go to Friday. Friday, again, the airtime is 6:30. Kickoff time is 7 o'clock. Andalusia and Sylacauga. This is Class 5A action, and this is taking place also at Legion Stadium in Sylacauga. Sylacauga and B.B. Comer share the stadium. Great game between the Sylacauga Aggies and the Andalusia Bulldogs. That is the Friday game right here live on WOTM. And WOTM, we are your exclusive television home for all of the Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events. That includes the Super 7 state championships coming up on that first week in December from Protective Stadium in Birmingham. We'll have all 7 state championship games. Plus this year, we are going to have for you the first ever girls flag football state championship. That will be at 3 o'clock on Wednesday. The 7A championship game coming up on Wednesday night at 7. Then we've got 3 state championship events, 1A, 3A, 5A coming your way on Thursday beginning at 11 o'clock all the way through the nighttime hours. And then on Friday, 2A, 4A, and 6A. That will be coming your way from Protective Stadium as well, again beginning at 11 o'clock in the morning. 11, 3, and 7 are the kickoff times for all of those games from Protective Stadium. All of those games right here on WOTM. And not only football, but as we get into basketball season, which is going to be beginning very soon, we'll have the state finals basketball from Birmingham. That will be live here. State championship games in softball and baseball. All the championship events and all-star events exclusively on television right here on WOTM throughout the 2021-2022 school year. That's going to wrap things up from Montgomery. So we're also going to wrap things up from here at WOTM. Don't forget to watch all the state championship events exclusively right here on WOTM. And we will see you as we make our way through the playoffs with the games on Thursday and Friday on WOTM as the AHSAA state football playoffs roll on.